All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time you are coming across this video. It's your favorite boyfriend, MC Tarok Pikin, the one and only CEO of the microphone. Normally, our work now to see and talk. To see and we didn't say anything. That means we are not doing what we are supposed to do. By this time, I believe even people outside Nigeria are conversant with what actually happened within these few days. What I'm talking about the primaries of our greatest and largest political party in Africa, that is known as All Progressive Congress. And by the grace of God, APC is the ruling political party in Nigeria. Their primaries for 2027 general election was conducted recently, and that is exactly what I want to say one or two things on. As citizens, we have the right to say one or two when we see things are going well. We have the right to say one or two when we see things are not going right. Once again, you're welcome to this edition of the program, The Bitter Truth with MC Taropik in Nigeria, my country. It's quite alarming that a political party that is known this much, that is boasting of being the largest political party in the whole of West Africa, and is the ruling political party in the most populous black nation in the world, cannot accept or cannot give its members a credible and a transparent primaries. The primaries started around 17, 18, 19, 20, 21st. Yesterday was the day the governorship election was announced, and today I think we are expecting to witness the presidential primaries. But the outcome of the election seems not to be okay by many, because in a political party where it has so performed that members of other political parties become the fake living, abandoning their own political parties they have struggled to build for years to join APC in the name that they want to support the vision of Mr. President, in the name that they want to belong where the power is. And at the end of the day, we cannot see a transparent primary election is something else. That is to tell us the level or the problem we are facing in this country. If an internal election is full of this discrepancy, is full of these shortcomings, if APC cannot give us a free and fair primary election, and APC is a ruling political party, permit me to ask, are we sure we're going to have a free and transparent general election come 2027? Permit me to speak basically on my own state, though I have clips and photos coming from different states, but permit me to talk about my own state, Plateau State. And in that Plateau State, permit me to talk mainly on the southern plateau where I come from. By the grace of God, southern plateau is comprised of about 6 local governments: Lenten North and South, Mikan, Kwampan, Shandam, and Wase local government. It is this local government that comes together to give the name that form southern plateau that we have. And it's one senator that comes out from these 6 local governments. But it's quite troubling, it's quite disturbing what transpired during the just concluded primary election of our able and amiable ruling political party. That primaries could not be conducted in 4 local governments. Primary was not conducted in Lenten North. As that I'm talking about for senatorial seats. For APC to come together and give us a standing and a credible candidate, a flag bearer for the party in Southern Plateau is a problem. Because primaries was not conducted in Lenten North, it was not conducted in Lenten South, it was not conducted in Nikang, it was not conducted in Kwampan local government. It was only Shandam and Wase. Report has it that even that of Shandam was only one federal ward that conducted this primaries. And yet, a winner emerged. It was not as if before local government mentions above, we are having some form of violence or security threat. People queued out, people came out of their houses, they waited for the electoral officers to come. But nobody turned up. They were left with no choice than to go back home. Lately, we found out that our election was going on even when people were waiting in other local government like Lantern North and Lantern South, Mikan, Kwampan. Election was ongoing in part of Shandam and part of was a local government. And it was with this same election that we have a candidate emerging. With this, I'm tempted to ask, was there some of a special arrangement for some candidate to be favored or not? I don't know. I can't see. But that's just a question. If APC had decided, all right, let's go on consensus, let's embark on a consensus, we don't have anything saying today. Highest will just clap hand for APC, praying that the general election come and whosoever that God gives victory emerges as the winner. But you agreed to go on election, and the mode of the primaries you adopted was not even by delegate, it was a direct primary election. That is, we have a name of a person or someone representing a candidate in every ward or every polling unit to see. With the name of the candidate boldly written, can people queue behind the person? Now, the most disturbing aspect is that with my little knowledge, I know we have about 4 contestants, 4 people contesting for 4 aspirants for the seat, for the ticket. That is the Southern Plateau under APC. 4 persons were contesting. We have Senator Bako Lalong, who happens to be the Senate House Committee Chairman on INEC. 2, we have Senator Napoleon Bali, who was removed by the court after spending just 5 months in office in 2023. We have Senator Victor Menasser Alar, who have served the Southern Zone for one good tenure before he was before he lose his second bid to late General Jeremiah Hussein. Then we have Chief Nanzing Ben, who is a fresher, the first time contesting for the Senate seat. Now, the most shocking aspect is that these three candidates, Senator Napoleon Mali, AVM retired, Senator Victor Lar, Chief Dr. Nanzing Nden, all of them are from Lantern North. Then Senator Bako Lalong is the only person from Shandam. And by the grace of God, he is the serving senator representing Plateau South and the chairman House Committee on INEC. The most troubling aspect is that you have candidates coming from the same local government, three, and this same local government primary election was not held there. The three candidates mentioned above are from Lantern North. Election was not conducted in Lantern North. Primary election was not conducted in Lantern North. Lantern South, there was no primary election there. Mikan, which happened to be a neighboring local government to Lantern North, there was no election there. Kwampan, the same thing, there was no election. But there was a primary election that was conducted at Shandam local government. And by the grace of God, that is where our sitting senator is from. The Senate House Committee chairman on INEC. That is where he comes from. Actually, the whole thing is so confusing. Now, to make the game a well-calculated game, Shandam is, if you're from Jones, the state capital, you pass through Lantern North before you drive to Shandam. Then you pass through that same Lantern North before you drive to Wase on the left. Shandam is on the right. That means they jump from west. Oh God. Now, Lantern North, South, Mikan, Kwampan are like this in the middle. Shandam is here, Kwampan is here. So the electoral material came all the way from Jos through Shandam. Then it jumped from Shandam to Wase, leaving Lantern North, South, Mikan, and Kwampan in the middle. And this same election produced a candidate. I'm not saying that the election is not credible, but I'm tempted to ask, is there any form of transparency in this? Is there any form of transparency from this? If people in Lantern North were out waiting for the electoral officers and the material to arrive, the same thing in Lantern South, the same thing in Lantern North, in Mikang and Kwampan, and they could not set their eyes on not the material, maybe they waited the material to come. None. No officer was on ground for the exercise to be conducted. But officers were available with material in Shandam and was a local government. So tell me, what is the hope for our democracy in Nigeria? What is the hope for our democracy in Nigeria? And we're not just talking about an internal election. We're talking about a primary election that will produce a flag bearer. What is the hope for our democracy? Now, recently, I came across some pictures online and videos of one Purifier Laber from Lenten South. He tagged himself a liberation ambassador. He led a protest demanding for accountability, demanding for explanation as to why election was not conducted in the local government mission, yet a candidate was announced as the winner. And that is not all. I said, let me just start with my own local government, with my own senatorial district. That's why I'm dwelling more on this. To be frank, the Electoral Act, they say it as bad, has stopped many of them from the campaign from one political party to the other. If not, I know this will have been the beginning of the exodus of the exit of many politicians from our ruling All Progressive Congress to other parties. Though we have some court injunction that stopping INEC from denying political parties from uh, filling in the names of their members and candidates, given that based on the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, it is expected that a political party have the time limit of 120 days before election to submit their names. So I don't know. We're not praying for this. We're not praying for this. Long before now, Plateau State has been known. Plateau State is known to be a PDP state. If not for what happened last year or last 2 years, last election, let me see, where PDP on the plateau could not have any candidate standing. If not, even the governor he won under the umbrella of PDP. He said Senator Napoleon Bali, he won under PDP. It was that court's ruling that removed him from office. All the House of Assembly members from PDP were removed by the court. And as a peace-loving people, these persons, they humbly obey the court ruling. Now, thinking to continue serving their people, to continue giving their people the benefit of democracy, they ran and joined the All Progressive Congress. And the most funny aspect is the APC welcomed them, giving them hope, only to show or only to display this thing we call primary election that cannot be named. So as a person personally, I want to say APC really needs to go back and work on itself. Or we, the supporters, we members, who have no choice than to leave our principals who refuse to leave the political party and support other candidates in other political parties. Because it is as simple as denying our rights. Now, if APC cannot give us a peaceful and a credible primary election, what do we have coming ahead for the general election? What do we have to see about the general election? That is the fear on every Nigerian's mind now. Just not the same complaint. The neighboring, uh, what do they call it? House of Reps election, the same thing with a neighboring federal constituency to my own. I am from Lantern North and South Federal Constituency, and there is this neighboring uh, federal constituency close to mine, that is Pangshin Kanke Kanam Federal Constituency. A lot of irregularities marked these primaries because this is the first time that we have an unauthorized individual announcing primary election results and still working free. Yes, the person is still working freely, and I during the video during the presentation of the governorship primary election yesterday, I saw him present during the announcement of that. I said, what? Now, what am I talking about? Initially, from the one, the two of the primaries for federal House of Assembly, that of Penchin Kanke Kanam, called popularly known as PKK, they had the announcement that one Honorable Tonshin emerged as the winner of the primary election, standing in as the flag bearer for APC. This announcement was made by a different person. You can refer to my last video that I posted. I think it was on Sunday I posted that video. We have that announcement made because I would just wake up in the morning and came across that video. Then, before sunset, we have another announcement made that Right Honorable Gagdi Yusuf Adamu is the winner. There was nobody to stand and give clarification until the INEC returning officer, the person delegated to chair the primary election in Plateau State, one woman from APC in Delta State, from Delta State, that was in Plateau State. She gave the clarification that the person they solely give the power to conduct that election was one Barrister Nando, the person that announces Right Honorable Gagdi Yusuf Adamu as the winner of the primaries. And you're telling me the person that made the first announcement that Honorable Tonshin made is still working freely. So for crying out loud, what exactly is APC trying to tell us? APC is trying to tell us that it doesn't have structures, it doesn't have a system in place that checkmate all shortcomings from actions like this. So sincerely, as a person, I'm highly confused and disturbed by the activities that I'm highly confused by what actually transpired throughout this primary election season. So as such, we want to call on APC that they ought to fix their house. They ought to know how to get things right. If at all, APC is demanding of our support. If APC really need our support, the needful need to be done. The right thing needs to be done. In the sense that we cannot be having conflicting results, cannot be having conflicting issues of electoral malpractice, injustice here and there, selection instead of direct primaries, and so on and so forth, coming from different states, different federal constituency, different senatorial zones. Haba, haba, haba. So we are calling on APC, please. I don't know. I'm not a legal practitioner and I'm not an INEC official. that I will know. Maybe the new electoral act that the Senate insisted outrightly that they don't want direct transmission of results from polling unit to the IRF server. So, but they give a room for this. If they don't give a room for this, there is need for corrections. There is need for a lot of corrections. Please. There is need for a lot of corrections. So, that's just my message and that's just my concern. I felt the need to add this. I felt the need to raise this concern of mine. Come in peace, not in pieces. Humbly respecting whatever decision a political party decides, but let them be mindful of exodus of persons from APC to other political parties. If at all the concern rise is something to go with. So that is just my candid and sincere outcry. Once again, I go by the name MC Taro Pikin, the one and only about Raymond. Awa, Alpha, Abonko, White Bada.